Okay, good evening, everyone. We are going to get started. It's 7 o'clock, and I want to welcome everyone to tonight's session. My name is Patty Smolin. I represent the Schaumburg Township District Library, and I work as a business reference librarian. Unfortunately, the building remains closed. However, your library staff is still working very hard to safely and quickly process materials for you. I'm going to put my name and my email address in the chat box in case anyone would like to get in touch with me as a reference librarian, but please feel free to contact the library at 847-923-4000. If you have any questions of things that we can help you with as far as virtual services, e-resources, or to put items on hold. This evening, I would like to welcome Cheryl Letwet, who is representing the association, the nonprofit of Clearbrook, and she's going to talk to us about resources that can help individuals of various ages with disabilities. And I know Clearbrook has a strong presence in the community, and I want to welcome Cheryl and thank you very much for addressing us this evening.
Thanks, Patty. Thanks for joining us on this Zoom webinar. As Patty said, my name is Cheryl Letwat. I work for Clearbrook. I have been full-time at Clearbrook about 9 years. I started out in job development, so I would meet with clients and try to get them community jobs. And now I'm just in development, so I help get sponsors for events. So let me go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. If you've been on a Zoom call before, there is a chat box. You can send messages. There's a Q&A, and I will answer questions verbally so that everybody can hear the answers. Let me just share my screen. There we go. There we go. All right. So this is Clearbrook Disability Services from birth to retirement and beyond. Clearbrook began in 1955 with a group of parents who wanted to educate their children with Down syndrome. There were 3 sets of parents. In those days, there was no ADA. Nobody was required to provide an education to children with any kind of intellectual disability. It started in a farmhouse, actually, which is kind of an interesting beginning, in Rolling Meadows. We are now in our 65th year, and we now serve over 8,000 adults and children with intellectual and developmental disabilities, which is pretty incredible for a local nonprofit. And what can we do for you? What can Clearbrook do for you? Do you or a loved one have an intellectual or developmental disability diagnosed before the age of 3? The first step would be to call an agency. So what we call CAU, there's a lot of acronyms. Hopefully I've spelled them all out for you, but if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the question box. Community Alternatives Unlimited. So what they will do is they'll assess your individual and tell you what services they qualify for. It is no cost to you. You make an appointment, you meet with them, and they can tell you what you qualify for, and they can also help you to fill out the paperwork. I've included a slide with their address and their phone number. If you are not on the PUNS list, prioritization for urgency of need services list, you need to get on it ASAP. The reason for that, PUNS can take up to 10 years to get your name pulled. So even if you have a child who's 3 or 4 years old, getting on the PUNS list can offer you some services. So I am going to tell you what PUNS will do for you. So one thing PUNS can do is if you get pulled, you get funding for in-home services. And what that means is someone will come to your home and work with your loved one on skills. So they could, whether it's, teaching them how to do their own hygiene, brushing their teeth, taking a shower, doing laundry, cooking, cleaning, any of those things. They can also take your loved one out into the community if it's an older child or an adult. I used to work in our home-based program, and some of the things we did, I would take this young man out into the community. We'd go to a restaurant. He'd learn how to read a menu, talk to the waiter, pay for the meal. Sometimes we'd go to a movie and he would, he'd have to pick the movie, he'd have to pay for the movie, maybe go to the, concession stand, pick out something to eat, pay for it, get the change back. Sometimes we would just go to a mall and I'd have him ask somebody in a store questions, never strangers, but, where is this? Do you have it in my size? And there were other things we did as well. So that's one thing that they'll help pay for. Pay for a day program. So if you have a loved one that's 18 or older, they may qualify for a day program. So if you work all day and you need for your loved one to go somewhere, that's an option for them. And also assist in finding a residential facility. So sometimes we love someone and unfortunately we cannot take care of them full time anymore for whatever reason. And a residential facility is a great option for you, and they will provide funding for that as well. We offer a lot of services, and this is a lot of information, and I will be the first one to tell you I don't know everything about everything. I know a little bit about most and more about some, but I will try to answer any questions as best as I can. So as I mentioned, we have home-based services, and that's where someone comes to your home. As far as the hours go, the hours are decided between you and your supported living assistant. However, the amount of hours, I believe, is decided by the state. It depends on a lot of factors. I'm not 100% sure what those are. It is 100% paid for by the state. You do not incur any expenses. However, if you ask your SLA to take your child out somewhere, maybe to take them out to dinner, then you are expected to pay for both the SLA and the child. We have child therapy. We have child and family connections, behavioral services, day program, employment program, residential services, obviously. We have 53 group homes. We have 4 intermediate care facilities, or as we call them, ICFs. Those are 24-hour care facilities for people that are in need of more support. 3 of them are enrolling Meadows, and one of them is in Gurnee. We have programs for children, child and family connections. We have home-based services, child therapy, children's respite, and transition services. So child and family connections is really kind of the front door to services. So you have a child born with a disability that's been diagnosed. It could be Down syndrome. It could be fetal alcohol syndrome. There's several that can be diagnosed before the age of 3. And your child, as a general rule, has to have a delay of 30% or more, or if they're born with a qualifying condition. So if your child was born with Down syndrome, that would be an automatic qualifier. But if you notice you have a 6-month-old that's behind, that would be something you'd want to call them about and have them assess your child. If your child meets the criteria for entry into the program, the case manager will work with the family and the therapist, and they'll set goals for your child. Now, once a child is approved for this program, the early intervention program arranges appointments and therapies for the families, and successful treatment requires involvement from family members, which means you can't just drop your child off and go grocery shopping. You have to be there. These are things that need to carry over when the therapists aren't there. And it's important. And you want to see that you're doing everything properly, and you want to know what to do. And obviously, you have a loved one with a disability. If there's anything you can do to help, of course, you want to be there for them. So our child therapy services is a family-focused program designed to serve and support families of children up to 5 years old who receive therapy. All right, so we talked a little bit about this, the home-based services for children. It starts at age 3, where someone will come into your home or, again, take them out into the community. It's a one-on-one service that can help integrate your child into the community and assist with skill development. So again, teaching them how to ask questions in public, or even taking a bus. I went with one young lady, we took the bus. She had some things she wanted to do, and her mother was working full-time and couldn't take her. So I took her on a bus and got her to a mall she wanted to go to, a restaurant she wanted to go to, a friend's house. And she's been able to do that by herself. So that was awesome, but those were her goals. Everybody's are different, of course. So our transition services, building bridges, that is for children ages 14 to 25. And we have 6 agency partners. And they can assist families and professionals with pre-admission screening. So if you hear the term PASS, that's what it means. Funds, of course, SSI, Social Security Insurance, Medicaid, guardianship, special needs trust, power of attorney, wills, home and community, residential programs, day programs, DOORS. DOORS is Division of Rehab Services. There's actually an office in Rolling Meadows, right behind the Meyer. Parent education and support, options for community services, and self-advocacy. So go back a couple of, oops, I went the wrong way, sorry. So one of the things I wanted to mention about transition services, we have great transition services. However, sometimes families with disabilities don't realize this. If you live in the state of Illinois, your child is entitled to go to high school until the age of the day before their 22nd birthday. So if your birthday is tomorrow, today is your last day of school. I have been called into IEP meetings, individual education plan meetings, the day before a child was about to age out. And the mother said to me, "Oh, you can't find him a job by tomorrow?" And I said to her, "I couldn't find you a job by tomorrow." So you really need to plan ahead of time for what you're going to do, especially if you work. And even if you don't work, if you have a child with a disability and they're not going to go to college, you want to make sure they have a plan for their life going forward, just like any other child would have a plan for their life. So it's very, very important to work with transition services and decide what the next step is going to be for your child. So our adult programs, again, home-based services, community integration and skill development for adults, and they coordinate with other programs the individual participates in. So if your child's in a day program and they're working on, I don't know, fine motor skills, then maybe your SLA can help come up with some activities that would be good. Or if there's working on work skills and you're worried about your child maybe getting a job, they can work on things related to job skills, things like that. But it's really, you make goals, but the SLA works with you on the goals. Obviously you want to make them realistic, because you're not going to go from high school the next day again to having a full-time job. It's a process. It's learning some skills, it's writing a resume, it's going on interviews, it's all sorts of things, a lot of steps. Same steps you take, they take. Clinical services. So we have behavioral services provided by board certified behavioral analysts. Services are provided in the home, day program, and or clinic. We have day services. We have about 11 day programs. So 2 are autism specific, 1 in Park Ridge and 1 in Palatine. And in Palatine, it's in the same building with our workshop. So if they want to work, if you have a child with autism and they're in our autism program, it's called CAP, Clearbrook Autism Program, they can also work if they'd like to. It's piecework. The pay is, per piece. But for some of our clients, it's really good for them. It's something to do. They do get paid. A lot of them take a lot of pride in getting that pay, no matter how much it is. But it's an option. And one of the things I should mention too is Illinois is an employment first state. They passed that a couple of years ago. And what that means for someone with a disability is that before they can go to a workshop, we have to train them and let them know what their options are. And we have to try and find them a job. We have to look for a job and if we can't find them a job, we have to justify it. We have to go through the state, make sure they know that we're actively working with this person. And if we're not actively looking for a job, why aren't we looking for a job? And can we do something to work on their skills, behaviors? If that's what it takes, we have to prove that we are actively trying. Anybody under 25 is included in this. We also have, as I said, job training, currently on hold, of course, but we do have a training at a assisted living facility where they work in the kitchen, do dishes, some light cooking, some skills there. We used to have a janitorial program, but again, on hold. Hopefully when things come back, all of our training will come back. Community employment, as I mentioned. So there's two ways your loved one can be employed in the community. One of them is supported. And the way Clearbrook does supported employment is an employer has to hire more than one of our clients at the same location, working the same hours. We will send a job coach each and every time. We will transport them both ways each and every time. And the job coach will stay the whole day. If you have a loved one that you think can be on their own after 18 months of job coaching, then you would apply to Division of Rehab Services, and they can refer you. It doesn't have to be Clearbrook, but there's plenty of agencies out there that also do supported employment, and they can get up to 18 months of job coaching. And then after that, they have to be able to be independent, and because Division of Rehab Services will no longer pay for it after 18 months. And they have to assess, obviously, if your child's making progress, but it's a great option. There's also independent employment, which means that your loved one can be kind of on their own after 90 days of working a job. And, you know, just from being in job development, I know that when we've had employers ask a job coach or a job developer to come back and do some extra training, we have never turned anybody down, and we don't ask anybody to pay for it. I remember an occasion where I had a client working at Savers. She was a cashier, and they were getting a new cash register system. So the manager asked if I would meet her at a different Savers that already had the new system and train her there, so that when she came back, she'd know how to use the cash register, the new cash register. So yeah, of course I did it. It's just a nice service, and it's a nice fallback, especially for people who don't have a lot of experience working with people with disabilities. It's a nice offering. Choice. Our choice program is basically adults that get to choose what they want to do. If they want to work, we look for jobs for them. If they want to do leisure activities, then they do leisure activities. If they want to do things like book club, we find a book club for them and bring them to book club. So it's all sorts of things during the day. Sometimes they play, sometimes they'll go bowling. They do all sorts of activities, and that is also in Park Ridge and Crystal Lake. And one thing that's very unique about our Crystal Lake location is that it houses our Naturally Gift product line. So, well, we have a day program, but we also have a store in the same strip mall. And Naturally Gifted are products that our clients learn how to make. So they learn to make lotions, candles, bath bombs, etc., as well as customer service skills and cashiering skills, and that can lead to another job. We actually have clients working there, and they do get paid for training. We don't, they're not, you know, it's not an unpaid internship. They actually get paid for training. They go out to expos and sell the products. They're actually really, really nice, and we don't make a lot of money in the, you know, doing it, but it assists us in bringing in an alternative revenue stream. And it's great for our clients. They love it. I love the products. I have several of the products. And you can go to the store, you can order them and have them shipped, or you can have them brought to our Arlington Heights location where you can pick them up. I put the website for our Naturally Gifted products if you're interested. And there's our little logo. And there's some pictures of some of the items we offer. So there's bath bombs, there's soaps, all sorts of kind of cool things. And it's something the clients are really proud of. And actually, we're pretty proud of it too. All right. So I'm going to move on to some more of our day programs. We have a pursuit program. So that is in partnership with Northwest Suburban Rec Association. And kind of the way that came to be was NWSRA was planning a program, a day program. And our president at the time, who is not our president now, said, hey, we do so many things with you guys. Why didn't you come to us? We know how to do day programs. We'd love to partner with you. And that has probably been one of our most successful partnerships. We have waiting lists to get to those programs. It's, pretty much all day leisure program. We're opening a fourth in Wheeling. In fact, I had a friend who works for another agency tell me that they also opened a similar program to Pursuit that wound up getting closed because nobody wanted to go to theirs, and it was very close to one of ours. They wanted to go to ours. So we're really proud of that. But it's a great program. The clients are so happy there. And and anytime you want to take a tour, we're happy to have you. In Palatine, we also have a program called Partners in Adult Learning, or PAL for short, another acronym. And what Partners in Adult Learning is, it was a group of parents who had children that were significantly disabled. So not just an intellectual disability, but also some kind of a physical disability. And their child needed a one-on-one assistant to go to a day program. So this is very much a parent-funded program. They do a lot of fundraising. It's a one-on-one. They do a lot of going out into the community to do things. They volunteer, they go on field trips. They have buses, wheelchair buses, of course, dedicated to this program. A lot of them are on special diets, whether, they're mechanical, soft. So everybody's got a one-on-one. We have a private bathroom for them, as a lot of them are, wear diapers. But it's a great way for your child to still go out and go to a day program and, go out into the community. Sometimes they'll go grocery shopping for something they're going to make. It's actually a really nice program. Our residential services. So that's, when you hear CILA, that's what it means, Community Integrated Living Arrangement. So you may have one in your neighborhood. I know I did when I first moved in. It's since been, it's closed and they sold it to a private person. But they're all over the place. It's just like you and I living in a house, they live in a house. We also have 4 ICF IDD, Intermediate Care Facility for Individuals with Intellectual Disabilities. And that's our 24-hour care. So somebody who's in a wheelchair that needs 24-hour care, they would be there. That doesn't mean they don't leave to go to a day program during the day, but it means there's a nurse on staff at all times. And they are, they're staffed at all times. Also we have one in Gurnee. So we have 3 in Rolling Meadows, 2 and 1 in Gurnee. At the one in Rolling, our largest one in Rolling Meadows has 85 beds. And there we have a building attached where we have activities and creative experiences for seniors. So what this involves is the seniors can come in. If you don't know this, a lot of people with intellectual disabilities tend to develop things like Alzheimer's sooner than somebody without an intellectual disability. So this is more support. They can't be in a regular day program anymore. So they might work in the ACEs program. If they're still okay, but they need a little more support, they may be in the ACEs program and still hold down a job a few days a week. It's a great program. They're in smaller groups. They're in separate, what I would call classrooms. There's 80 to 100 monthly activities, and there's clinical support, meaning if your loved one is losing their ability to do some activities, physical activities, maybe they're walking slower, they can get physical therapy, they can get speech therapy. Okay, so some of the ways to get involved in Clearbrook with Clearbrook is to volunteer, to sponsor an event, donate, or attend an event. So volunteer opportunities. We love our volunteers. We were trying to estimate how much money our volunteers save us. And we can't keep track of it. It's got to be in the millions. We have had, volunteers with these incredible talents, like some of them are great at landscaping. Some of them are great at painting. Some of them are great at singing. We have a mom who comes in once a week and does an art program. And she pays for her own materials. And I know she gets a lot of recycled and gets things at Goodwill. And you know what? The clients don't care. They love it. We have had groups like Deloitte has come out for a day and painted houses. And is you have a house and you've had it painted, you can imagine what the cost is. We have people that come in weekly to volunteer. But we're open to whatever your schedule allows, whatever your talents are. Our volunteer coordinator is amazing, and she will stay late if you can only come in after work. She will come in early if she has to come in early. She's pretty amazing. As I said, share your talent with us. So what can you do? Do you play the guitar? Our clients would love it. Anything you can think of that you want to share with us, we would love to have you. Our events, we have lots and lots of events. We have more than 12 a year. You can sponsor an event. We are a nonprofit 501c3. We have packages starting at $250. We can customize your sponsorship, and we have everything from golf to galas. Donate in-kind donations, gift baskets, gift cards, food. We actually, during the pandemic, a lot of the staff was saying how the best part of this whole thing was all the food that was going to the group homes to feed the staff, because normally nobody would be there during the day. And a lot of the local companies, Chick-fil-A donated 105 lunches to our staff one day. Not to us, not to the administrative staff, but to our hourly staff that are working with the clients. So it's a nice booster for them. We've also put together goodie bags for them. We've tried to give them gift cards and bonuses and different kinds of things, whatever we can do. But we love our in-kind donations. And a lot of times I just picked up donations today from Kendra Scott, their jewelry store. They never say no. They always give us a couple of items to auction off. And things like that. It's really great. Monetary donations, 92% of our monetary donations go to our program. So only 8% goes to administrative costs, which I think is pretty impressive. The industry average is something around, I want to say 78 to about 85%, but I know we're well below the industry average. Attend an event, something for everyone, all price points, casual to formal, suburbs to the city. So pretty much anything you can think of, we probably have an event for it. So, attending an event. I came up with our list of events. These are events that either we've done in the past, some of them we're not going to be doing anymore, but we're always adding new events. So one of my favorite events is our wine tasting. Lots of fun. If you are in the area, Divine Wine in Palatine comes, they donate all the wine. And for about an hour before the dinner, everybody stands there trying different wines. There's appetizers too, so you're not just drinking. It's a really fun event. You get dressed up. There are some speeches. It is a fundraiser, but there's so many items for auction, which are really fun. This year we had a light up bar that someone had made for us. An actual company that makes furniture made it and donated it to us. First Look for Charity, the auto show. If you have never been to the First Look for Charity, I highly recommend you go. It's a huge fundraiser. 18 charities attend. We get a room. Each charity gets their own room. They send out invitations. It definitely is more expensive than the regular auto show. It's black tie only, but it's beautiful. It's fun. There's food. There's entertainment. There's cars. There's not the crowds that come during the day. It's just a totally different experience. The first time I went, I came home and I said to my husband, you have to come next year. So we did. He volunteers. So he doesn't have to pay for a ticket, but he bought a tux because if you don't wear a tux, I hear stories about people who've been kicked out. Luckily for women, you're a little more flexible. We have a bingo night, which we just started at Arlington Ale House. And that's about $20 a ticket, and you get a free beer or wine, and you get a bingo card. You can buy extra bingo cards. There's also an auction there, a raffle actually, and there are prizes for winning bingo, and it was super fun. And we got Lou Malnati's to donate pizza. Pub crawl. So pub crawl is really one of our young, our associate board. So it's generally people under 40, and it takes place in Wicker Park, and there's specials at each bar, and then they get to the last bar and there's food. And also there's auction items, there's raffle items, and that's a daytime event. Our Shining Star Ball Gala, which is our biggest fundraiser of the year. Unfortunately, we were unable to hold it this year. But lucky for us, our supporters donated, and we were able to bring in more money this year than we had brought in last year. But it's fun. We always honor somebody who's done a lot for us, whether it's somebody who's volunteered or somebody who's donated money or, you know, planned an event for us. It's a really, really great event. Lots of fun. It's downtown at the Four Seasons. It's just a great event. Candy Days, which you may know as Jelly Belly Days. We are calling it Candy Days because who knows, maybe in the future we won't be giving out Jelly Bellies. That generally takes place in May. Obviously, we weren't able to hold it, but we do need volunteers for that event. So, you know, someone to stand in front of a store and collect money, and it's usually the weekend of Mother's Day. It's Friday and Saturday, and all we ask is that you take a 2-hour shift. Tim Tebow holds a prom across the nation for people with disabilities, and our clients attend a different set of clients every year. So we always need volunteers. We need dresses for the ladies. We've had people donate haircuts and makeup services and hair services. It's really a fun night for the clients, especially because a lot of them have not attended their own prom. Our Women's Golf Classic, unfortunately, I just found out today that's going to be canceled. That's in August. It's normally in June. We were going to have it in August. They've decided to not do it this year. But Clearbrook on Cue, if you ever have been to Metropolis, they put on some great shows. So for $5, you can attend Clearbrook on Cue, which is our clients putting on a show, a play for people. It's a one-night event. And afterwards, they sign autographs. It's so much fun, and the clients love it, and it really makes them feel like stars for a day. And they really put in several months of practicing. They start practicing in February for a June event, and they love it. And it's really fun to see. Challenge, our golf challenge is at Exmoor in Highland Park. It's a beautiful course if you've never been there, and it's a high-end golf outing. We are still hosting it. We have not canceled it. It's going to be August 10th this year. It's just a beautiful golf course, and it's a lot of fun. We normally do a lunch and a dinner, which we will not be doing this year. But it's still a beautiful golf course. So if you haven't been there, it's a great day. It's fun. The people that participate are really fun. It's just a great event. Step It Up for Clearbrook. We're hoping that's going to be our signature event coming soon. It's a walk run. Our first time hosting it was last year. This will be our second year. We're going to do it virtually. So please sign up for it. You'll still get a shirt. You'll still get a run bib. And like I said, it'll be really fun, and you can kind of do it at your own leisure. We just ask that all times be completed by September 26th. There will be prizes for the fastest. But again, a great way to support us, but also to get in shape. And our clients participated last year, which was really fun to see. Around the block food tasting. So we did that last year for the first time. And basically what it was we split people up into teams, and we knew what team you were on because you got a different colored backpack, and you went from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant. The food was donated. You had to purchase drinks if you wanted a drink. But the food was all donated by the restaurants, and it was a lot of fun. So people would go from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant trying their cuisine. And it's fun because you get to see the inside of a restaurant that maybe you never even heard of, and kind of get to see their menu. But people loved it. We loved it. Anything with food, right? People loved. There's our associate board fundraiser in November, which is probably going to get canceled, but that's a higher end event for our young people. This past year it was at the library, which is an actual library, but they have event space, and that was really, really fun. It's a beautiful space. There's food, there's music, there's again an auction. That's a lot of fun for young people. We have our client holiday party if you'd like to attend and volunteer there, and that's obviously in December. And Elmhurst College sends their jazz band, and the clients dance, and they see Santa Claus, and they eat, and they have a great time. The families come, so that's a great activity. And Fun Fest, that's also not a fundraiser. It's where we all get together on a day in June. Again, canceled this year, but we have people doing face paint, doing activities. It's kind of like going to a carnival, and then in the afternoon we do karaoke with the clients. It's really, really fun. McDonald's donates all the hamburgers for it, and Jewel donates fruit. And then we have some other people donate chips and bottled water, and Walgreens comes with games and prizes, and super, super fun. So we have a lot of events, and it wouldn't surprise me if, by the end of the summer, we have new events or we change some events because we're ever evolving. So I wanted to provide some contacts for you. Community Alternatives Unlimited, CAU, again, this is their phone number. If you are interested in working with Clearbrook, you have a young child or you know someone with a young child that may be in need of our services, you want to contact Jason Teets, jteets@clearbrook.org. If you're interested in therapy for your child, you want to contact Susan Roderick, sroderick@clearbrook.org. Admissions. So you have a child that needs some kind of services that we can provide, and they're not young, they're not under 3. You want to contact Heidi Raymond, hraymond@clearbrook.org. If you're interested in volunteering, Kathy Schuing is our volunteer director, kschuing@clearbrook.org. Hillary Middleman is in charge of events, and that's hmiddleman@clearbrook.org, and I'm in charge of sponsorship, slatwat@clearbrook.org. And for any kind of general information, that's our phone number. And you can call and tell them what you're looking for, and they can hopefully get you to the right person. I have no problem if you don't want to make a phone call, feel free to email me, because if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer for you, or I'll find someone who knows the answer. We're just here to help. And if you're not interested in, getting services from us, we're happy to, give you the name of other people that can help. We just want to make sure that everybody's getting what they need, and that your child is able to, get the services they need to fulfill their greatest ambitions. All right, questions?
Cheryl, this is Patty. I just want to, I'm putting out in a chat your contact information, so that everyone that is viewing this now can get in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a wealth of information. I mean, I'm so very grateful that you were available to bring this to the library. I mean, your dedicated staff, it seems to bring the best out of your clients and talents and interests. And I'm glad that you did talk about all of the events that you've had in the past, because I know that where we are right now, so many things are on pause, and our least favorite word is canceled. But it just shows what you've done up until we experienced March.
Mm-hmm.
And what may happen. Like you said, we're always evolving, so we have to see how things will take shape in the future. But you've certainly accomplished a lot of things, and it sounds like you've had a great deal of fun with them too.
It was a big move for me, and I'm not sorry I did it, because it is a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people, and sometimes change is good, and maybe this will shake us up a little bit, and we'll come up with bigger, better events. You never know.
So a question for you. I know you've talked about all of the programs and services
Mhm.
and all the acronyms that you have, but
Yeah.
during this time of COVID, is there something that the community can keep in mind for Clearbrook? Is there something that Clearbrook is in need from the community during this time of COVID?
Well, of course, I'm going to say money because we've spent about 1.3 million on PPE that we weren't prepared to spend. We had no precedent for it. But donations are great. We for a while had a hard time finding PPE, which is thankfully becoming more readily available. But we're still in need of wipes. So if anybody knows where we can get those, we're happy to pay for them. Messages to our staff and our clients are always appreciated. Messages of thanks and people just being grateful for those people that are willing to go into our group homes every day, even when there is a positive case or even a suspected case. Yeah, like I said, anything. We had one gentleman wanted to do something nice, so he sent pizzas to some of our group homes. Not all of them, because 53 is a lot, but he ordered Luminati's for 9 of our group homes, and he had them delivered to our main office, and we delivered them to the homes for the staff. So things like that are really keeping people's spirits up, and we really had to come together. This is really our first week back in the office, and nobody's working full time in the office right now. We're kind of scared. But yeah, we're like I said, if you have a talent you want to share with us, we'll take it.
Well, you and I may be talking about that at some point online. I know that we work together pretty closely in the Hoffman Estates Chamber, and you're active in the chamber, and so is the library. So we'll continue talking because we are neighbors. I do want to thank everyone that has participated on the call tonight. And again, if you have any questions, my information is in the chat, and so is Cheryl's. Earlier, I think I gave the wrong prefix for the library. I was giving the one for my direct line in the library. The general number for the library is 847-985-4000. I put my contact information in the chat too. But we are here for you. So Clearbrook, thank you so much to the whole staff, but Cheryl specifically for taking the time to bring this to us.
Yeah, thank you. I was happy to be here.
All right. Well, take care, everyone.
Take care.